Hello and welcome to Friday's second edition of Cracking the Cryptic. There was a crossword video earlier on for those of you interested in such things. And I think the floodgates have opened. This puzzle on screen, which is a fog of war obviously, is by Kaktuslav. And I did my first Kaktuslav puzzle only a few days ago on the channel. It was wonderful. And I made the comment, I think I called the video something like, is this the new Fistamafel? Genuinely a brilliant puzzle. And since then, we've just been inundated with recommendations for Kaktuslav puzzles, including for this one. Now, I've read the rules of this one. It's a little bit mathsy, actually. Not in a complicated way, but it involves square roots. So, and I think, very surprisingly, if I read the rules correctly, we have to consider every digit is going to be square rooted once in the puzzle. And that immediately worries me slightly because I don't know off the top of my head what the square root is of things like 7. I know that I think the square root of 2 is 1.41. I vaguely remember from my school days, but the more complicated square roots are absolutely beyond me. But I think we will have to do at least some calculations in order to work through them in this puzzle. But anyway, apparently it's absolutely brilliant. 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty, and a wealth of recommendations on Logic Masters Germany. Some really brilliant comments. So I think we're in for a lot of fun. But we might be doing some maths as well, and that's fine. Now, what can I tell you about before we kick off today? I will mention a few things. Let's start with, let's start with where we are on the Patreon reward. This is the competition for the month of August. This is where we were yesterday, so 764. 764 was the correct. We're virtually at 800 now, 799, and I think by the time we reach the 20th, we'll have 2,000 solves of the first puzzle, which is absolutely fantastic. Well done to everybody who's taking part in this. Still plenty of time left if you'd like to be in with a chance of solving a puzzle with me. Yeah, good luck with that. Actually, I owe last month's winner an email because Mark's now back from his holiday. He's back from celebrating his important birthday yesterday, and today he has sent me an email suggesting a puzzle. So I now know what puzzle I meant to attempt with last month's winner, so I'll get that organised, and hopefully that might be a video soon. Other videos that we've got going up on Patreon in the near future: my attempts at solving last week's listener crossword, Listen by Eck. I've got 4 or 5 videos so far, and none of them are short. And there are going to be more. So anyway, that's something that it probably will only appeal to you if you enjoy cryptic crosswords and me being shown up for being foolish. But anyway, that's going to go on Patreon soon. Now, the other thing I've got to talk about today is birthdays, and I've got lots of birthdays to talk through, some of which are for tomorrow. So we'll go first and say happy birthday to Polly. And Polly, I think your name is also Paulina, because I've heard from 2 different people. So your friends Zoe and Robin wrote to tell me it was your birthday tomorrow. They described you as being a joy to know and an avid solver. And apparently, well, they say they're sorting cake. However, your partner Bethany also wrote with the extra information that I think Polly, you're Polish, and you particularly like cream sponge cake. Now, can we get behind cream sponge cake? Only if it's exceptionally fresh, and the cream has to be proper cream. It can't abide confectioner's cream. So providing those things are true, we can just about forgive the lack of chocolate cake. But Polly, or Paulina, if you prefer, many happy returns for tomorrow. Now, next, there are other tomorrow birthdays. I'm going to just go through my list in order, though, otherwise I'll get it wrong. Lily, I think your birthday is today, and you have turned 20, and I know this because your boyfriend Jimmy wrote to us, and I remember you because we met you last year in Stratford, didn't we? I've got a picture. Here we go. So I think Lily, you're the one who's obviously the expert selfie taker. I always admire people who know how to do selfies. I myself do not. I am selfie inept. And Jimmy says that chocolate cake is being sourced. So Lily, you're in for a good day, I think. He described you as being incredibly kind and incredibly Welsh. That's great. Oh, and you might not be interested because you've already seen it, but it is now, I think it's certain that Mark and I are going to go back to Stratford this year. So I don't know if that's public information or not, but I've sort of made it public now. So there is going to be another live edition of Cracking the Cryptic at this year's Stratford Literary Festival, which I don't know when it is, October or November time. But anyway, Lily, many happy returns. And yeah, there we go. That's another birthday down. Now, next, for tomorrow, I think, JJ, your friends, Everett and Eric, wrote to me and said, I think all three of you are into Sudoku, and you might all three of you be in your final year at high school. But JJ, many happy returns for tomorrow. I hope you get good cake, and thank you for watching the channel. Next, Gabriel in London. Gabriel, you're turning a secret age today. I can't possibly imagine what that is. And, well, your email was incredibly kind. You described Cracking the Cryptic actually as a little oasis of calm and kindness, which is very generous, and actually I was very moved by your message, and I thank you for it. So Gabriel, many happy returns on your secret birthday. Next for today, I think, Karina, your wife Ona, I might be saying that wrong, I hope I'm not, wrote to us to say, could I wish you a happy birthday? I think the two of you are in Mallorca, where it's probably less hot than it is here in Surrey today. But Karina, many happy returns. And then finally, this is for tomorrow, Kelly, your girlfriend Anna wrote to us. I think the two of you are in Montreal, and Kelly, you're on holiday next week, so you've got a holiday off to start your starting with your birthday, so that'll be good. And Anna also said your besties have wished you well, but there might not be chocolate cake. I guess, Kelly, because you don't like chocolate cake. I don't know what's wrong. But anyway, Kelly, I hope you get whatever treats you enjoy. Many happy returns tomorrow. Now, that's all the news. I think I might have forgotten something, but we have to do some solving, don't we? So let's have a look at Roots in the Fog by Kaktuslav. The rules are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply. So we have to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. Exactly 9 cells in the grid are rooters. The value of a rooter equals the square root of its digit. In all other cells, the value equals the digit. So if that was a 7 and it was not a rooter, its value would be 7. No two rooters share a row, column, box, or digit. So if this was a rooter, let's pick a colour for a rooter. Let's make a rooter red. If this was a rooter, then firstly, none of those cells could be rooters. Secondly, whatever digit was in this cell, if there was a rooter here, that couldn't be the same digit as that, because you can't repeat digits within rooters. At least that is how I read the rule. However surprising that might be. A black dot, now I can see some of those. A black dot connects two cells where one value is double the other. Not all such dots are necessarily given. That just means, say these two cells were, let's put in small in case I happen to get the right number. If these were a 2 and a 4, they could have a black dot between them, but they don't need to in the puzzle. It's just, we know positive information about cells like these. We know one of those is double the value of the other. Now, next. Values on thermometers. We can't see any thermometers, but let's draw one in. Let's draw a thermometer. The thermometer might look like this. values on thermometers strictly increase from bulb to tip. So this digit would have to be lower than this one. Oh no, hang on, I said that incorrectly, didn't I? This value would have to be lower than this one, would have to be lower than this one, because I guess we can have square roots along thermometers. The sum of the values along an arrow equals the value in the attached circle. So, okay, so if we had an arrow might look like this. And what we would be doing is we'd be adding these three and putting we'd add those three values and we put the value in there. I think that's what it's saying. The sum of the values equals the value. So that's quite a strange rule. There's more rules. Along green lines, of which we can see none, neighbouring values differ by at least 5. On each purple line, the set of values consists of consecutive integers in any order. All cages have the same product of values. Digits or values may repeat within a cage if allowed by other rules. So that's a crazy rule. So if that was a cage and that was a cage, the product of those 4 values would be the same as the product of those 4 values. I'm going to have to get into my head that I need to say value a lot in this puzzle. Nori. Okay. The grid is partially covered in fog. Entering correct digits may clear some fog, not necessarily beneath or around the entered digit, and no guessing is required. And I don't think I missed out a rule there. There's quite a lot of rules, but they are all of them. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now, I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, the first thing that we've got to say here is that there is some immediate jiggery-pokery going on in box 1, because one of the sort of tenets of black dot logic, with which I am familiar with, I have done 1 or 2 Kropki dot puzzles in my life, is that the digits 5, 7 and 9 can't normally go on black dots, because if you think about the digit that would be across from the 5, 7 or 9, if you half the digits 5, 7 or 9, you don't get integers, and if you double them, you don't get Sudoku numbers. You get double-digit numbers, so normally 5, 7 and 9 can't go on black dots. However, I can't fit 5, 7 and 9 into those cells. So something is getting rooted in those cells. And I guess it must be 9, mustn't it? Because 5 and 7, 5 and 7, whatever the square root of them is, it's not something which we can double or halve across a black dot and get anything sensible. Whereas 9, if that's square rooted, you get 3. And that is the key, isn't it? Because what that means is that this thing, which would ordinarily in normal Sudoku land have to be either 1, 2, 4 or 2, 4, 8, in this puzzle, this could be 3, 6, 3, with 3 being generated in one instance by a square root of 9. And I don't think there's another way of doing it. Because if you put the 3 and the 6 on here, or the 6 and the 9 square rooted, then you can't put 3 in any of those cells in either square rooted 9 or natural 3 and do anything sensible. So I think this has to be a 6, I think. Yes, and that's lovely. Okay, so we're off to the races. We've got a thermometer here. These squares have got to be 1, 2, 4 and 8. These have got to be the naughty black dot digits that can never go on a black dot. Now one of those is a naughty digit, and all of those are not naughty. And Okay, so now we're going to have to think about how this works. So we've got a 5 and a 7 here, which are not massive digits. And there's far too many cells of nonsense in box 2, aren't there? I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there are so there are 7 cells in box 2 on thermometers. The top digits of which, well, the very top digit of which is a 7. So all of these values, and there are 7 cells of values there, have to be less than 7. Now, okay, so let's think about how we can do that. We could do less than 7 with the plain vanilla digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, couldn't we? And we could create a less than 7 value by square rooting one of the other digits. So 7, 8 or 9. Oh, not 9. Not 9, because we've just square rooted 9. So these 7 cells are the plain vanilla digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and a square root of 7 or 8. Okay, so there is a 1 in this box on a thermometer, and we know that a 1 has to go in the bulb. That must be a 1, I think. Didn't clear any fog, but that must be true. And then 2 is going to be natural in one of those positions. Hey, oh, hang on. I was about to say, how can that be 5? But then I was thinking, hang on, let me think about this. I've got... No, this can't be 5, actually. Yeah, these 2 digits are natural because they're in the same row as a rooter. So if I think about the minimum value of these squares, it'd be 1, 2, 4. Now, if this was a rooter, which it could be, but it can't be mathematically, because to be a rooter, it would and obey the thermometer rule, it has to have a greater value than 4, which means its value, well, what you're square rooting would have to be more than 16. And that's impossible because that's not a Sudoku number. So I think that has to be a natural digit. And therefore it's bigger than 4. And it is... Well, it means this can't be 5. I'm not sure I can go beyond that. That must be 7. This must be 5. Something else has happened in the fog. These... No, that doesn't... I was thinking this has to be 2 and 4. That might not be true, though. Could this be 5? It can't be 6 by Sudoku, but it might be able to be 5. So this is 5 or 6. This is 4 or 5. This is 2 or 4. And it's still not obvious to me what we're doing here. Something on this line is square rooted, so we should encapsulate that, shouldn't we? And we know it's a 7 or an 8. Yeah, so 9 in this box has to be off the line. Sorry, that's an obvious deduction. And the other digit that is in the domino, or not in these 2 cells that are not on the thermometers, is the one of 7 and 8 that is not square rooted. And that can't be a 7. So this digit is an 8 or a 9. And I might be being really dumb here. So hang on, do I have to know about the exact values of the square root of 7 and the square root of 8. Well, actually, hang on. If this was a square root, it has to be the square root of 8, doesn't it? Because it can't be a 7 just by Sudoku. And Sudoku does still play a part in this puzzle. And the square root of 8 is the same as 2 times the square root of 2. Yeah, because that is how maths works, isn't it? So 8 is 2 times 4, and 4 obviously you can square root 4 and get 2. So I think that the square root of 8 can be represented mathematically as 2 times root 2. And now I know what root 2 roughly is. It's about 1.4, so 2.8. So if this was square rooted, its value would be 2.8. Which is, no, that's okay. That's so ridiculous. Oh, no. Okay, where's, no. I've got it. Sorry, I'm being dumb. Where's natural 6 in this box? It can't be here. It can't be on this thermo because the top value of this thermo is 5. So that's got to be 6. Now, can I do the same? I've got to put 5 in this box on the line. Now, if it wasn't there, no, it must be there. It must be, because it's definitely a green digit, so it can't go on this thermometer. It's not clearing any fog, this. So 5 is in one of those cells. 6 is in one of those cells. We've got something else that's emerged here. I don't actually know what that's going to be. What sort of thing is that? Oh, that'll be an arrow. Ah, okay, so maybe this is something we can look at. Because this arrow, well, this is already impossible if it doesn't involve a router. Because let's imagine that this arrow, you can see that it goes into here and it goes into here. So let's imagine that's the limit of what it does. It only occupies these 5 cells. And let's make that a circle. And we're saying that that then is the sum of these 4 digits. Well, if there was no router in those 4 digits, they would have the values of a minimum of 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, which is 10. And there's no way I can write 10 into this circle. So something is going on here. There is some jiggery pokery. there is a game afoot, and we know well. Yeah, look at the first row of the grid. Now we don't know much about the first row actually, but we do know that we've got some jolly high digits that have to be placed over here. The digits 7 and 8 have not made an appearance in the first 6 cells, so 7 and 8 are over here. Now I'm going to firstly say I don't see how that can be 7 or 8, because that's definitely on the arrow. And even if there was a router in this box somewhere, which there is, to deal with the size of the arrow, there's going to be 4 arrow digits adding up to an arrow circle at least. And the 4 arrow digits, even if one of them is rooted, that means you've got 3 natural arrow digits. Now if this was a 7 or an 8 as a natural arrow digit, it can't be rooted because it's in the row with a router. You're adding at least 1 plus 2 to that, aren't you? And that's 10 already before you even add the square rooted digit. It's too big. So I don't think that digit is 7 or 8, which means these two are 7 and 8. And that's rather beautiful, actually. Because now how can this, which is a natural digit, be on the arrow rather than the circle of the arrow? It must be the circle of the arrow, for exactly the same reason that this couldn't be on the arrow. So the arrow doesn't even add up to 9, even though, well, this digit is 2 or 4 by Sudoku now, and that's natural. Now, and we've got to square we've got to square root something. Do you have to square root 1 then? Is that... No, because that's actually no, that's a very stupid it's an insanely stupid idea. Sorry. I had the idea of square rooting 1 just because 1's very little, but I've just realised that we actually have to reduce the value, don't we? So the 4 digits that are on this arrow, which is going at least to here, the router has to reduce the value of one of those digits, because otherwise these will add up to at least 10. If they were 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, and we square rooted the 1, these still have a value of 10. That's too big. We have to reduce the value. And we can't, so it has to be an integer. This is an integer. So it's got to be 4. It's got to be 4 being square rooted. Yes. So, right. So the only possible way that this arrow can work is if it is, and this is going to place 5, it's exactly the digits 1, 2, 3 and 4, where the 4 is square rooted, so its value is 2, and the 1, 2 and the 3 are natural, so their value is 6, and that gets you to 8, and you cannot, so it can't go outside the box, because then this would have to be bigger. And there is no way, is there, of combining square rooted values. I'm just wondering if it sort of took loads of square rooted values, whether in some way that improves our lot, but it doesn't, because we've still got to deal with the basic facts of box 3, where we've established now the best case is that these cells individually can be made to have a value of 8. So I think, okay, this is doing lots of work. Firstly, this is an 8, I think. Well, it didn't clear fog, but I think it has to be right. This has to not be a 4, because I think one of these is a square rooted 4. Oh dear. This is a bit worrying, actually. These squares are now 1, 3 and 4. One of them, I believe, is a square rooted 4. These are now natural. Oh, and that's the 5 by Sudoku. These are 6. This is fine. Right, these are 6 and 9, and that's still doing a bit of work, because that seems to place 9 here. No? Well, hopefully it did, but it didn't clear fog. This is, I mean, it's quite brilliant as a puzzle, as an idea. But it's very, very strange that this is not clearing any fog. So what have we got here? 2, 3, 7 and 8, where the 7 or the 8... Yeah, the value of square rooted 7 is still more than 2, isn't it? Because squared 2 is 4. So this has to be 2. Wow. Oh no. This is really, really worrying. Now neither of these are 2. So the 2 is here, which means the 1 is there. So neither of those is 1. Oh, hang on. We've now got an 8 in those. So they have to be a 2-4 pair. And this has to be a 1-8 pair, which means these are not. So this is a 1. No. That hasn't even cleared. Have I messed this up then? So that's. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, I could have got that a different way. I just hadn't appreciated it. Right. So the square rooted 4 is in those squares, which the corollary of which is that this had to be a natural digit. That has to be a natural digit. We've got to put the square rooted 7 or 8 in one of these cells. Now, right, okay, so square rooted 8. A square rooted 8 has to go here, I think, or square rooted 7. because square rooted 8 is 2 times root 2. We worked that out earlier. And if I'm right that root 2 is 1.4, then 2 times 1.4 is only 2.8 and is less than 3. So I think the 3 has to go there, and therefore, yes, okay, that's fantastic. So we were... It's really clever the way that the sort of setters now are sometimes doing this. They're sort of delaying the reveal. Now look, all of these are now green. We've got 2 sort of weird symbols that we've revealed. Now let me just mull this over. Do I know more than I think I do now? So hang on, I've got Ren bands here. So these have to be where purple line, the set of values, consecutive integers. But something's got to be square rooted. So right, so this has got the square root of 1 in it, because the only Sudoku digits you can square root and get an integer are 1, 4 and 9. And I've already used 4 here, and I've used 9 here. So there's a square root of 1 in one. Ah, and I know where it is. Well, I don't know exactly where it is, but it's in one of those 3 by Sudoku. So that's lovely. So there's a... Right, so the strings that we've got in box 5 are a 1, 2, 3 string, a 4, 5, 6 string, and a 7, 8, 9 string. But on the 1, 2, 3 string, the 1 is square rooted. So if that was a 1, 2, 3... If these were a 1, 3 would be here. So 3 is in one of 2 places in box 5. 2 is either there or there or there. 2's got 3 positions, I think. If either of these was 4, 5, 6... Oh no, this one can't be 4, 5, 6. Because this would have to be 5 and 6 at the same time. So one of these is 4, 5, 6. And then for 7, 8, 9, I think they can... I might be wrong, but I think they might all be able to be 7, 8, 9. So maybe I'll have to look at this one. So let's just get the exact rule. Along green lines, neighbouring values differ by at least 5. So in this box, well, we have to put a 5 on the whisper, which is a very surprising thing. Because 5 normally, I mean, well, ignore rooters for a moment and just try and make that a 5. How could that be true? This digit now needs to then have a value that's 5 different from 5. And if you ignore rooters for a second, that means its value is either 0 or negative numbers or 10 or higher. So it's impossible. Now if you... Yeah, okay, so in this box, the 5 is square rooted, I think. Because it must be. Because if it was natural... If this is 5 and it's natural, how do you achieve, even with rooting this, a value that's 5 different? You can't get to 0 negative numbers or 10 or higher by square rooting Sudoku numbers. So this box contains a square rooted 5 in one of those positions. And as the square root of 5 is more than 2 and less than 3. That's a fatuous thing to say. So okay, so that, right, so what that means is that there are effectively 5 low digits in box 4. Or 5 low values, because normally the way we split up German whispers lines is that you have the digits 1, 2, 3 and 4 and the digits 6, 7, 8 and 9, and they have to oscillate along the whispers lines. But here we've got an extra low digit, which is the 2 point whatever it is digit, or value that is the square root of 5. So, yeah, so, okay, let me just explain something then, which is bizarre that this needs to be explained in this puzzle, but let's imagine that this is a digit that's lower than 5. What is the nature of this digit from a German whisper's perspective? It can't be from the 1, 2, 3, 4 set. Because these two digits would not be sufficiently different. They have to have a difference in value of at least 5. The same would be true, actually, if this was 1, 2, 3, 4 and this was 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. Because 5, remember, has a low value. It's got a lower than 5 value. So these can't be far enough apart. So what this means is that along these green lines, if you have a low value, which could include a rooted 5, the next digit is going to be a high value, a higher than 5 value, which is a 6, 7, 8, 9. And you're going to get oscillation. So this is a pair, 1 higher than 5, 1 lower than 5. This is a pair, 1 higher than 5, 1 lower than 5. And this oscillates. But there are 3 low values to consider. So those 3 low values have to be in those positions along this line. So that there are 3 low values, and these 2 are high values. Now, what on earth does that mean? So, okay, so the square root can't be in a high valued position. So the 5 is now in one of 4 positions. And this can't be a 5. So that is a 1, 2, 3 or 4. These are 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, it's a terrible pencil mark, but forgive me just a moment. Let me just think this through. So, right. So the value of 5, oh, my phone's buzzing at me, is, no, the value of square root of 5 is a bit beyond 2, and it has to be on a line here. So it can't be next to 6 or 7 on a green line, the square rooted value, because 7 is still too close to it, because its value, the root of 5 is like 2.2 roughly. It's definitely too close to 7. So, so 5. So 5. Okay. So wherever we put the 5, it's got to be next to 8 or 9. But the same is true for 4 and for 3, isn't it? 4 can only be next to 9. 3 can only be next to 8 or 9. So So 8 or 9 have to be doing quite a lot of heavy lifting. They're going to have to be surrounded by 2 of these hard digits, the 3, 4 and the 5. At least one of 8 and 9 is surrounded on 2 sides by 3, 4 and 5. Okay, where is 6 in this box? Maybe that's an easier question. I don't know the answer to that, but I do. 6 can't go in those 2 positions, because 6 can only be next to 1 on a whisper, and both of these positions are in the middle of a line. Oh, this is lovely. Yeah, this is the way to do it. The way to do it is not to do the complicated stuff I was just doing. Forget all that. The first question you ask, once we've established the polarity of this line, what I should have then done is to say, okay, where's 6 in box 4? Because 6 can't be in either of these positions. So 6 is in one of these positions, where we know it's next to 1, because that's the only digit that 6 can be next to on a whisper. But now, How could you put 7 in either of these positions? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Because if you put 7 on it, we've worked out that 7 is unaffected by the square root of 5 conundrum. 7 only has the partners of 1 and 2. So if I was to put 7 in either of these, 1 would need to be on this line, but it's not, it's up here. So these digits are 1, 2, 6 and 7. 7 is not on this one. So this is 1, 6. This is 2, 7. This is beautiful. This is beautiful, actually. I've seen what that's doing, but let me just deal with this. So now, this is 8, 9. I'm sure that's resolved somehow. I can't see how to do it. Neither of those is my my square root of 5 digit, but much more beautifully, look at this. 2 and 7 are looking at this Renban. So can this be 1, 2, 3? No. Can it be 7, 8, 9? No. So this has to be let's see. Not only does this have to be 4, 5 and 6, which it does, but actually that is a 5, 6 pair, and this has to be 4. I didn't clear fog. I think that logic was correct though. We know that 1. Well, that's great. That's great. Because now this line has to be 1, 2, 3. So that's got to be 3. Because we know that the 1 is the digit that's being square rooted in the box. So these are a 1, 2 pair, and one of them is square rooted. This is a 7, 8, 9 pair, and that's not a 9. That digit has to find a home in box 5. It's got to be here, look. So these two digits are the same. This digit is not a 3. Well, that digit's not a 4. Because if this is a 4, it's a natural 4, and the only digit that could be next to it from a whisper's perspective is 9 in both positions. So this one, this is going to do this one and this one as well. This is the naughty old 5. Didn't clear fog, but I think that logic again. I keep thinking the logic is good. These two, right? So let's get rid of all our shadings now, because this is now green, which means it's 2. This is 1, and is naughty. There's a naughty up there. None of these are naughty. None of these are naughty. This is not naughty, so that's green. This is naughty, so that is 9 is what we oversee. So this is 9, and that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Now, that's great, but has it helped us to solve the puzzle? 5, 6 pair here means this is 6. This is 1. I keep thinking it's going to give me something that actually reveals something. 5. So it doesn't really matter. I don't think the order of the 8 and the 9 there. That's a 3. Oh, I don't know. What on earth am I meant to do now? This row has got an 8-9 pair in it. So this is a snooker maximum. It's a 147, I think, and that's a 4. That might clear fog. No. Okay, this is now a 4. That's a 3. That's cleared fog. Okay, so which was the one that we want? We want the square root of 4, didn't we? Is what we wanted there. So this is now, these are all natural. Do we know what the naughty digit is here? We've got 3, 8, 9 to put in, and we've already had the square root of 9. That can't be 3. We haven't had the square root of 3, and we haven't had the square root of 8, unless that happens to be the square root of 8. Okay, I don't quite know what to do with that. These squares look like they're 2, 5 and 6, and that's not 2, that's not 5, that's not 8. I've just seen I've got an 8 in the corner, I might as well use it. This digit is apparently anything. Oh dear, that's very bad news. That is very bad news. What does that mean then? I can probably do these black dots somehow. One of these is 1, 2. One of these is 4, 8. Oh, there's a naughty digit down there. There's a naughty digit down there. And there is a... These squares are a 7, 8, 9 triple. This is sudden. 1 and 2 are definitely in these cells. Definitely by Sudoku. Am I missing a trick here? Is there some way of resolving this whisper? I don't think there is. I'm not sure. What was the rule? The rule about cages was weird. All cages have the same product of values. And digits or values may repeat in a cage. So what do we know about anything there? Just about nothing. So wherever this cage lives, is that actually revealed? That's revealed. So this cage, wherever this cage lives, here, it's going at least to those cells. But this cage, it's completely confined by this box. So this doesn't have a repeated digit in it. And the way I'm seeing that is that this cell, you can see from the sort of grid furniture, this cell and this cell are not in the cage. And this... So the only other way of getting out would have been to here, but that's also revealed under the fog, so it's not going up there. So this cage just lives, I'm going to say it lives within some subsection of those cells. And it's got the same product as these three, and wherever this cage goes. Maybe I tell you what I might have to do. Let me just double click. I just want to see where the fog is at the moment. So this cage definitely includes 3 digits, those 3 digits in fact, and not that digit. Maybe that's what I've got to do. So oh, hang on, that's a terrible colour. It's definitely those 3. It's definitely not that one. It's definitely not that one, because we'd see some grid furniture if that was in the cage. It's definitely not these, is it? So it could be that one. It's none of those. It's not that one. It's not that one. So this cage is... How do we do this? This cage is at least these 3. One of which is a naughty digit, which isn't 9. So, oh, I see. Oh, sorry. Yes, okay. Hang on, I've just realised something. The digit that's getting, let's call it converted, rooted, in this box is a weird digit. From the point of view of it can't give an integer. It's 3 or 8. Oh, that's it. That's absolutely ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. So we don't even have to do any maths. Do you see why? Yeah, this is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. here's the question. Oh, I'm wrong. Oh no, I'm wrong. No, I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. It is correct. Okay. I have got no clue where this cage goes and how big it is, but I do know that the non-integer digit or portion of the value of the product of this cage either includes the square root of 8 or the square root of 3. Now I want to think about what happens if it's got the square root of 3 in it. This cage down here, wherever this one lives, would then have to have, in order to have the same product value, the square root of 3 in it, and no other weird square rootiness is in it. How would you achieve that? Now, my first blush was suddenly, oh, could I use the square root of 6? Because the square root of 6 is the square root of 3 times the square root of 2. But you can't do that, because then you've got an excess square root of 2 in here that you can't mimic up here, because you've only got one chance to do a square rooting here. And if you square root the 3, you must just have one. I mean, the only way of generating a single square root of 3 with Sudoku numbers is with a single square root of 3. And you can't square root the 3 in this box and then again in this box. So it must be 8. That must be 8 is my contention. It didn't clear the fog. Of course it didn't. Well, although, if that's square root of 8, and that's my belief now, there is a square rooter in there. This is not an 8. There is an 8 in one of those cells. But this is now the square root of 7. This is an 8 by Sudoku. It's still not doing anything. It might do things when we do this. Or this. Yeah, it might actually, because that 8's going to fix this. 1, 2, 8, 4, 2, 7. The 8 here can't be next to a 4. It's not going to work. Oh, I don't believe it. It's still not doing it. I've just done that amazing, well, for me, amazing idea, and it hasn't done it at all. Hang on, can we? Okay, hang on. What's going on down here then? So we've got 1, 6, 7. These squares are 3, 5, 9. 3, 5, 9 is what I was trying to type. And these are 2, 4, 8. These we don't quite know because of this 5, 6 pair not being resolved. And 9 in this column is now down here. How do we do this then? Sorry, I know I've just stopped talking. I'm just trying to understand what on earth. Okay, maybe I've got to do more maths thinking then. So I now know that this digit, let's give it 2, because just to make it absolutely abundantly clear, it's in this cage. This is the square root of 8, which is the same. So there's the root 2. Oh, I see. Yeah. So it's the root 2 component that has to be mimicked in this box, because the square root of 8, if we think of of 8 sort of, is 2 times 4, isn't it? 4 square rooted is 2. So the square root of 8 is 2 times root 2, which means the non-integer portion of this box is root 2. And the only way of generating that is with a 2 that's square rooted. And we haven't had a square rooted 2 yet. We could square root 6, of course, but that would have the component of a square root of 3 as well, which we haven't got here and we can't get from here because this thing isn't going outside the box to pick up more square rootiness. So in this box, this is I've seen what it's going to do. So in this box down here now, I believe there's the square root of 2, and it has to go in one of those cells, and that's resolving this one. There we go. 6, 5, 2. 6, 9, please. or this one, 9, 3, no. This is, it's so harsh. 5, 6, 9 here. 5, 6, 9. What are these? Oh, these can have the 1s and the 7s in as well. 1. If you put 1 in a cage, it won't do anything to it, because it'll just be a multiplier by 1. So, okay, so we are going to have to think this through, aren't we? We're actually going to have to work out this cage down here. Where does it go? It goes there, 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 there. I can definitely see that. There's a little thing there suggesting it doesn't go here. But that is a very little thing, and I don't like relying on that. So I'm going to say it definitely doesn't go there, there, or there. It doesn't go into any of those cells. So could it go here? See, I think it can. There is a small argument it doesn't go there to do with this tiny piece of office furniture. But could it go there? Yes. So we really don't have any clue about the potential size of this cage, but we do know that among its constituents, it's got to have... So what are the prime factors of this so far? We've got a 3, 2 3s within a 9, so 3 times 3. So we've got 3 cubed. And then a 2 here, 2 times root 2. So at the moment, if that cage does end here, then this cage down here has to have 3 cubed in terms of the digits in it, the prime factors of the digits in it, 3 cubed, a 2, and the square rooted 2. So how... Oh, it can't have... No, it can. No, it can. Bobbins. But... No. It's got to have 9 in it. It's got to have 9. If it doesn't have 9 in it, this cage down here, how do we get enough factors of 3? Because there are 3 factors of 3 here. 3 times 3 times 3. So this has got to have 3 factors of 3 in it. If it didn't have 9 in it, and 9 is in one of those positions in box 9, it's only the only factors of 3 available would be in a 6, where it's 3 times 2, so there's 1 factor, and in a 3, where there's the number 3, that's 2 factors of 3. It's not enough. So there must be 9 in it, and it has to be there. No. I don't even know why I'm getting excited by every digit. They just don't work. So 9. So that 9 is matching off there. There's still got to be another factor of 3, and there's no 6 in it. So there must be a 3 in this cage, and that's got to be... careful, Simon. Well, it does. There's a green 3 in one of those positions, but I was about to say it's got to be here. It could be here. So, yeah, so it could be 9. Oh, but hang on, where am I getting my other factor of 2 from? Oh, hang on, I've got a problem now. I was about to be very happy and claim this was going to go 9, 3, 1, 2, with the 2 being square rooted, and I realise that's wrong, because 8 is not just the square root of 2, is it? It's 2 times the square root of 2 when it's been square rooted. This 8 has a factor, a plain old factor of 2 in it, which I haven't accounted for down here with my, let's say that was a 2 and was square rooted. And we've got the 3 in here with the 9. The 3 and the 9 take care of the 3 factors. I can't put 6 in this cage at all. I can't use 2 to create a 2 factor because I'm using it to square root. So I have to either have a 4 in this cage, but that's horrible, because that gives me 2 factors of 2 in this one, which means I'd need to have more factors of 2 in this one, but then I'd take a 4, and that unbalances it again. So, okay, so I definitely have to have an 8 in this cage down here. It's essential. It's the only way of balancing the forces. Because even if I take that 4 into this one, I've still got I still have to come back down here, having taken a 4 and still take an 8 as well. So there is an 8 in this cage, and the 8 is in one of those 3. So maybe that can be 3, 8. But now, now, having taken 8 down here, that's a natural 8, not a square-rooted 8. So now 8 is 2 times 2 times 2, so I've now got too many factors of 2 down here. So I have to take the 4 to balance that out. And that does balance it out rather prettily, because I've got, this is 2 times root 2, this is 2 times 2. So in other words, I've got 2 cubed times root 2 between those 2 digits. And once I square root, say, this digit, this 2 here, I've also got 2 cubed in the 8 plus root 2. So everything balances. In fact, if this cage is just that, and that's a 3-8 pair, the world works. The thing I'm slightly worried about is 1. And whether it's possible to get a 1 in here somewhere. Now, how could we grow this cage any further? If this cage grows further, it has to take the 2 here. And it could only do that. It can't do that, because where's the other factor of 2 coming from here? I'd have to take a 4 into the cage down here. And I can't do that. Because that's mismatching the 2s again. I'd have to take a 6 up here, but I can't take a 6 up there because that's got a factor of 3 in it, and I can't put any more factors of 3 down here because the 6 is over here. So this is not in the cage. This cage ends there, and this cage is either it's either exactly as it looks, like that, or it's got a 1 in it as well. But the 1, well, yeah, how? Oh, I've just had a different. No, that even if this runs right down here, it's just making this one's problem impossible to fulfill. You cannot balance the 2 factors if you take this 2 with this cage. You cannot do it. So let's just be careful. I think that was clear. But so what I wonder now is whether I'm meant to. Yeah, so here's a question. Where is the square-rooted 2 in this box? Now, it could be here. If I respect this corner mark, it couldn't be here. And I don't think it could be there. Because if it's there, this box has, again, it's got all of those digits in it. And I could make this box 9, 3, 8, 1, 2, but I'd have to put another digit in it as well, and we know that's going to break the total up here because this can't extend any further. So I think I can rule this one out from being 2. That's partly based on, though, well, Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder whether this is one of those puzzles where I'm meant to observe the grid furniture. And I don't like that. I don't like doing it because I always worry that if you're new to the channel and you've never seen a killer cage before, for example, how would you be confident that this cell, I mean, I know this cell is not in this killer cage because I've done enough killer Sudoku to know that there wouldn't be this grid furniture in the sort of southeast corner of this cell if this was in the cage. But if you're new to Sudoku, you wouldn't know that. So is there another way of deducing this then? And there might well, oh, hang on, there might well be. Let's think harder. So I know 3 and 8 here are in the cage. I just don't know where they go. I don't know if... You see, if I could deduce that there was a 1 in the cage... Imagine the cage went there and it was a 1. That would do this. The problem is we know so little about anything in these rows. Oh, do I know about the... Hang on, I might know what the funny old digits are, mightn't I? Because we can just do an audit. 1, 2. I've not had a square rooted 3 or a square rooted 6. So, okay, this is good. So this is square rooted 3. The 3 down here is the naughty digit. And that's it. That's it. Oh, it's brilliant. So I'm going to be able to resolve it without having to worry about... Yeah, because the only digits left to be square rooted are 3 and 6. The 3 must be one of those, so the 6 must be one of these, and that's looking here. So this is 6, this is 5. It didn't clear the fog. I was so sure that was going to clear the fog, but it didn't. So this is 1, 2, 5. This is 3, 4, 6, and it's the 6 down here that's the naughty digit. Oh, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I wonder if I can't solve this puzzle other than making the assumption that you understand cages, I wonder if you could make it so that if you solved that domino, it would reveal that cell or something. That would be quite clever, wouldn't it? Because then you wouldn't have to rely on the office furniture or the grid furniture. Because I don't see what I'm going to be able to do now. I mean, I know because this can't be a 2, one of these is a naughty digit. So either this is a 3 or this is a 6. I don't see a way to make progress. But I do if I respect this corner mark. Because if I respect that corner mark, that can't be 2, and that's a 2. I wonder. What might I have missed here? The thing is that the great thing about fog is that if you can't see underneath it, you can't really have missed much. I was sure it was going to be that. There's no other way. So here I've got 2 cubed plus 3 cubed plus root 2. Here I've got 3 cubed plus 2 cubed plus root 2 plus possibly a 1. And if this did go down here, that's another factor of 2. I'd have to introduce a 4 down here, but then I'd have to introduce a 6 up here, as well as however you get to the 6. So maybe And then I'd have to introduce another factor of 3 down here, which is only coming from a 6, which I can't get to. It just doesn't work. So I think the logic I've done is tight. I think it's clear. And I think probably I'm meant to say that this is a 2 on the basis of the grid furniture. And that has cleared something, hasn't it? Oh, it's... Oh, no. No. I do not like the look of that. Okay, but I might look into whether it's possible, because that's a nice deduction, working out there's a square root of 6 there, isn't it? And you get these two, and if that then just revealed that that cell wasn't in the fog, it would be totally fair. So let's just see if this takes us forward. So 2, 2. Hang on, I now sort of want to... Well, neither of these are now foggy, that are routers, so that is not 6, that is not 3, I'm staring at it thinking, okay, what does that do? Though that's being confirmed, but we'd already confirmed that to our own satisfaction, hadn't we? Oh no, I've got a horrible feeling I'm going to have to think about that one, which is going to be absolutely terrifying. Wait a second, what? No, it's not. Oh, hang on, what on earth? How am I going to do this now? This is brilliant. This puzzle is brilliant. It's brilliant again. These cages are weird, but they're sort of magical. I've got to get a root 2 component. Oh, it's magic. It is magical. It is absolutely magical. Right. I have to get... We know we've got to get root 2 into this cage somehow. But... where are we going to get a root 2 from? We've got a root 3 potential, that's no use at all, or a root 6 potential. Root 6 is beautiful, that has a root 2 component, but it's root 2 times root 3. And I don't want a root 3, but I can get rid of a root 3 if I include in the cage the root 3 from this box, because root 3 times root 3 is 3, and that's a perfectly acceptable factor. So this has to be 3. That's got to be, that's 5, that's 9. I'm sure this is going to do things. Well, this is now the 6, because it's the square rooted digit. This is not 4. I think that has to be 4, doesn't it, in this box? Because if I put 4 in this cage, we worked out that break the world. So that's a 4. That's a 4. This is not a 6. Whoops. This is not a 9. This is a 9. Still doesn't clear the fog. Yeah, this is very exciting though for me, because now I think what we're going to be able to do... Well, we know those two cells are definitely... And we know that cell. We know we've got to join... I've got to join these up in a cage in order to get the correct factor of root 2 into the cage. So we're going to have to think about how we do that. That's going to be the big game in town. But I would really, 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 really like to do some more Sudoku first. So this corner digit is 1 or 7. How do we do this? I've done all the 9s. I haven't done all the 6s. Oh, goodness. 1, 3, 7, 8. So I still don't know whether this cage here has a 1 in it or not, which is a terrifying thought. Okay, let's think this through then. So I've got to join these up. So I've now got, I've got roots. So these two together give me one factor of 3. So they sort of offset that 3, if you like, in the master cage. So I still need 2 more factors of 3 in this cage, but we're allowed to repeat digits, remember, in these funny cages. Now I could just grab a 9, perhaps that 9, or I could grab another 3 and then another 6 maybe, if that's possible. Although the 6, probably not that if that's a 6. And I could go through 1s willy-nilly. Going through a 1 is no problem. I can't go through 5s. That is definitely true. Or 7s. They would be bad things to go through. So if this is an 8, that's all my factors of 2 used up in one splurge, isn't it? So if I did go through the 8 there, I couldn't go up. That would be too much. So I'd have to go into the 9. And then I have to get here without taking another factor of 2. And that is impossible. Because, well, I either pick up a 2 or a 5. Yeah, I don't think this can be 8. Because I'll go... I can't go there then. That's another factor of 2 too many. So I have to go to the 9. And then I've got to get to this square with orthogonal movements without picking up another 2 factor. So it can't go through 2s or 4s or 5s or 7s because there's no 5s and 7s factors there. There's no way to do it. If I go to those 2 cells, it's either a 1-2 or a 1-5, and either way it breaks. So I think that's a 2. Didn't clear fog. Not surprised now. That's 8, that's 7. So, oh, this is big. That's huge, because 8 is in this cage, and I now think it's there. Oh, I don't believe it. Okay, but if that's true, surely this has to be 1-3. So this is 1. Maybe this is why. Okay, this is 7. Okay, no, I can still go. That's 3. That's 1. Please clear fog, please. This is 7, this is 1, this is 6. I mean, I'm going to finish the puzzle, and nothing is it is clears at the last moment. Now, hang on. Is this correct? Is the next question. So we get everything, I think, sorted out. I can get rid of all the black cells, I think. This is a cage in and of itself. Let's get rid of the corner marks there. That's definitely not red. Now, this cage has got... It's got... There are its 3 factors of 2. There's its factor of root 2. There's one of its factors of 3. There's 2 more factors of 3, and that's a 1, and I don't care about that, and that is correct. That is absolutely ridiculous. What an incredible puzzle. Look, it's had loads of solves as well. People like that. I'm not surprised. It's brilliant. I mean, how many different ways did we have to think about that? I mean, it feels like ages ago I was trying to work out what the square root of the 7s and 8s were for the thermometer, and then you had this logic, then you had totally different logic for the whispers, the Wren bands, and then the stuff at the end. It's fantastic. What a fantastic puzzle. I might, for the sake of I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to technically do it, but I might suggest, if we can, that point, resolving that cell, for example, just to make just as a helpful thing for somebody who isn't used to killer cages or who might be new to the channel. I don't think it would spoil the logic at all, because I effectively used that logic. Although maybe it would reveal that cell's contents, so maybe that's not a good idea. Because, I mean, if you saw that cell, no, you wouldn't see whether that cell was in or not, I don't think. I think you'd just see that cell as blank. I think it would be okay. Yeah, I think it would be okay. Anyway, fantastic, Kaktuslav again. Let me know in the comments how you got on with the puzzle. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.